Hello, this is Lance Johns, and I wanted to talk about the funeral last week of George Floyd from June the 9th. Um, More than 2 weeks after George Floyd was murdered by Minneapolis police, um, the mayor of Houston stood at his funeral on June 9th and announced that he would ban city police from using chokeholds or strangleholds. Mayor Sylvester Turner in Houston, he said that we will honor him today because when he took his last breath, his son would not be able to breathe. I'm sorry, I'm kind of sleepy. I really shouldn't be doing this, but I have to do it. The mayor said at George Floyd funeral in Houston. George Floyd, who was 46 when he died, he grew up in Houston, predominantly black, Third Ward. And in order by the mayor also required the police to give a warning before shooting, among other measures. The announcement underscored how quickly the death of Mr. Floyd, who was held down for 9 minutes by Derek Chauvin, his death has gripped and transformed the nation. Because of that, hundreds of protests and significant policy changes. Excuse me. Calls to ban neck restraints and take funding away from police have spread beyond the site of his death in Minneapolis, where city officials have vowed to dismantle the police department and start over. The city council of Washington outlawed police chokeholds on Tuesday, and Phoenix police also announced the end to another kind of neck restraint. Mr. Floyd's brother is scheduled to fight a custodial hearing on Tuesday. They didn't say which brother. It's probably Terrence Floyd, most likely. The sweeping change came as George Floyd, a father security guard, was laid arrested in a final goodbye. The capped days of public grief and national unrest as Mr. Floyd's coffin was wheeled out the church by pallbearers on Tuesday afternoon to be buried in a grave next to his mother. A crowd of mourners erupted in grief and calls for justice. "We will breathe," one man shouted. Another yelled, "Get your knee off our neck." Two rows of police officers stood to the side. As the coffin was lifted into the hearse, a chant broke out saying his name George Floyd. Say his name George Floyd. The death of Mr. Floyd led to protests in hundreds of cities across the U.S., but many cities were quiet Tuesday, June 9th. In Portland, Oregon, a federal judge issued an order on Tuesday night restricted how the city can use tear gas, saying that there was evidence the officers had violated the rights of peaceful protesters. The judge said the use of tear gas should be limited to situations which life and safety are at risk, even if it means officers are able to stop some property damage. The order lasted for 14 days. Um, I guess this happened as George Floyd's funeral was going on. A New Jersey correctional officer was suspended and FedEx employee was fired on Tuesday after reacting to the killing of George Floyd on sidelines of over marching protest of racism and police violence. The march on Monday passed through Franklin, New Jersey, south of Philadelphia, was met by a group of counter protesters, including two men who performed a reenactment. "If you don't comply, what happens?" One man can be heard yelling in a video protest on social media as he presses his knee down another man's neck. A third man yells "Black Lives Matter" to no one. That's so stupid. I mean, the reenactment took place next to a pickup truck covered in American flag and two large banners say Trump and Our Lives Matter. I mean, people lives do matter, but if excuse me, I mean, I can see if every race was being killed incorrectly or by brutality and everything, but it's mainly the minorities that's being killed. Not in a good way. In a statement on Tuesday, Chief Brian Zimmer of the Franklin Township Police said the town officials were appalled and saddened by the remote actions of certain images that investigation. A spokesman for New Jersey Department of Corrections said the correction officer has been suspended. Uh, in a FedEx spokesman, the Vino Code said the visual involved was no. Hold on. Oh, the individual involved was no longer a FedEx employee. FedEx told his team members a high standard on personal conduct, and we do not tolerate kind of appalling and offensive behavior depicted by his video. Ms. Cole said in a statement, adding that we stand by those who support justice and equality. Okay, like the funeral of Michael Brown and Edgar Gardner, Mr. Floyd funeral Tuesday became a moment in both national reckoning and mourning as black leaders and Mr. Floyd's death celebrated his life and denounced the brutality of his death. The funeral aired live on broadcast and cable TV, and the speaking involved in the political movement was born out of Mr. Floyd's death. No child should have asked the question of that too many children have to ask for generations why. Why is daddy gone? Former Vice President Joe Biden Jr., the Democrat president said in a video message, this is what justice for George Floyd. We will truly be on our way to racial justice in America. As the funeral began, the New York Stock Exchange was silent for 8 minutes 46 seconds, the length of time that it took for the Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin to take away George Floyd's life. It was the longest moment of silence on stock exchange in 228-year history, a spokesman said. The Reverend Al Sharpton, the civil rights leader who delivered a eulogy amongst the country's political and business leaders, relayed saying they are sorry for mistreatment of African Americans, don't apologize, giving Colin Kaepernick a job back. He said, referring to former NFL quarterback, we don't want an apology, we want him repaired. Ms. Sharpton promised to return to Minneapolis for a trial of officer charged in Mr. Floyd's death in a march on Washington by 10,000 on the anniversary of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King March on Washington. I have a dream speech this August coming up. One by one, Mr. Sharpton named the relatives of the black men and women who had been killed by the police and asked them to stand. Other mourners stood too until everybody in the sanctuary was on their feet clapping at the funeral. One man briefly became a funeral for our lives lost. The mother of Trayvon Money, you will stand. Ms. Sharpton said the mother of everybody, you will stand. Since of Bowden Jean, will you stand? The family of Pamela Turner here in Houston, will you stand? The father of Michael Brown from Ferguson, Missouri, will you stand? The father of Ahmaud Arbery, will you stand? All these families can stand with this family because they know better than anybody the pain that they will suffer for the loss they have gone through, Ms. Sharpton said. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, brought a flag and promised the family would be receiving letters from former Presidents Barack Obama Bill Clinton, according to Representative Chief Jackson Lee, the Democrat Texas who brought the mourners to the feed. I want to acknowledge that to these young marchers in the street, she said many of them could not be in this place. They are black, they are brown, they are Asian, they are white. They are protesting and marching. I say, as a mama, I hear you cry. The day before Derek Chauvin was charged with murdering George Floyd, negotiations for plea deal broke down according to the Hennepin County Attorney Office. Mr. Chauvin, a former Minneapolis police officer who held his knee to Mr. Floyd's neck for nearly 9 minutes before Mr. Floyd died, was charged with third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter on May 29th. He was later charged with the upgraded offense of second-degree murder. The state initial charge was announced one day after Eric McDonald, U.S. Attorney for the District of Minnesota, began a delayed news conference by telling Post, "We thought we could have another development that I could tell you about." Unfortunately, we don't at this point. Mrs. McDonald had pleaded for a robust and a medical coolest investigation into Mr. Floyd's death without announcing charge of potential development. Okay, if you watch the video and what she said, you could pretty easily figure out exactly what happened. Chuck Lezuski, a spokesman for the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, she said in an interview on Tuesday night, they were negotiating in there, and yes, it fell apart. It fell apart. Mr. Lezuski said the discussions included Ms. McDonald and Michael Freeman, the Hennepin County Attorney who handled the case before the governor appointed Keith Ellison, the state attorney general, to take over. The spokesman declined to describe the terms of a potential deal, said how long the negotiations took place or why they ended. Neither Mr. Chauvin, current or former lawyers, immediately responded to a request for comment about the negotiations in Minneapolis. Members of Mr. Floyd's family said they want Mr. Chauvin to be charged with first-degree murder. He is being held in a maximum security prison on a bail up to $1.25 million. Excuse me. So, rest in peace, George Floyd. Hopefully his family will get justice, and hopefully, this will stop. But it's probably going to take a lot for this to stop, because this keep happening. I know. I was hearing somebody got killed the other day in another town, but I had to catch up on my paper to see what's going on. But thank you for listening. Social distance, be clean, sanitize your mask, don't be a hoarder, be safe, see something, say something, don't be afraid to speak out. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for listening. Again, this is Lance Johns. Comment below, hit the bell for notifications. But thank you for listening again, and have a good day. Bye.